webinar, and I'm glad you agreed to speak to our team here. We're looking forward to this, and I will let you introduce yourself and begin whenever you're ready.
Right. So thank you, Ratrika, and thank you, Blue One India, for inviting me to speak. I'm not a very known speaker, but it's a good opportunity to express myself and basically talk about my journey. And can you guys hear me all right?
Yes, you're audible. You may
Okay.
continue.
Yeah. So basically, I have a fintech startup called Prosper, and that's where the idea of talking about prosperity came from. Um, so let me just dive in. So basically, apart from Prosper, I'm a heartfulness meditation trainer. So I train people in meditation free of cost. Heartfulness is a worldwide institute, and we have about 11,000 trainers, providing meditation to over a few million people meditate under the heartfulness method. So, and I have a fintech company. So today I wanted to talk about finance and spirituality, and that's something I believe it's on the opposite ends of the spectrum, but it's something that we all need. And I thought it would be the appropriate topic to speak to you all about today. So I'm also, apart from being a heartfulness trainer and running my own fintech firm, I'm into the passion of automotive restoration. So I'm the co-founding trustee of the Classic Drivers Club and the youth advisor to the Federation of Historic Vehicles of India. So yeah, I got a couple of things I'm juggling with, and basically today's presentation is about that. So basically, since I was a kid, I had this idea that I want to be rich and I want to make a lot of money. And I think with our current education system, a lot of people are in this trap, so-called trap. We all want to make it big, and we idolize people who are, rich and famous, and we want to like sort of live that lifestyle and things like that. So my teenage years, I used to sort of get obsessed with this idea of money. So in my early 20s, that's when I got serious, and I wanted to study wealthy individuals to understand how money is made, how money is preserved, and how generational wealth, which is basically the new term today, and it's not just money, it's just generational wealth, how you create that kind of big money, and how it's wealthy individuals have been successful in holding on to that money for generations and passing it on along with the power and the responsibility and things like that. And as I was studying these wealthy individuals, I started to ask myself how many of these people are actually happy. So, I saw a lot of guys who are like very, very wealthy, but they didn't have any time for their family. They did not have time for themselves. They were always on the run. They were always chasing after something. Every time they hit a milestone, they buy a Rolex, reward themselves, and then go for a bigger milestone. And as you know, numbers are infinite. So chasing money it's not the ideal way to go about it. Yes, money is very important, but there is more to life than money. So when I started thinking about what is to life more than money, that's when I stumbled upon the concept of prosperity, holistic well-being, prosperity. So I decided to name my startup Prosper, and basically not just focus on money, but also other beautiful aspects of life, which we are, which are there on offer. We just have to go and grab it. So according to me, I've come up with a simple plan for my life, and you can take it or leave it. And this is just my opinion and the way I understand life. It need not be true for you. I'm sure you'll have some value to take back from this. So starting off, this is the basic formula I have for my life, which I lead my life by. So prosperity is equal to health plus wealth plus people plus purpose and passion. So these are fairly simple things. I don't know if any of you also think like this, but the whole thing is sort of bracketed under a base of spirituality. So I am a sort of individual who believes in spirituality. I believe in humanity is one, and I believe in service to humanity and more than anything else. So everything that you do is under, ultimately we are spiritual beings with a soul, and basically we live this life, this material life, and to get on with this material life you need certain tools, some knowledge, and basically once you club all that together with good intention, that makes a prosperous life. So the first part of it is health, and you guys are like already into health services, right? Blue One is doing a good job, a phenomenal job from what I hear from Aratrika regarding health applications and things like that. So we all know the importance of health, you know, and I'm not a health expert, so I'm not going to dwell on this too much. What I will dwell on is wealth, right? So you need a healthy mind to, you know, to enjoy money, to enjoy the wealth that you have created, or your family, or your, you know, you've been handed down. So if you don't have health, you can't do that. Number one. Number two is that, you know, you need to be able to use this wealth properly and create value for the world only if you're healthy in mind and body. So let's talk about wealth, you know, and this is one of my favorite topics, you know. So if you want to be wealthy, what do you do? You know, you have to understand the rules of the game. Unfortunately, in today's world, in schools, in colleges, people are not given correct financial education, and this is probably the primary reason why people are misinformed, have wrong notions about money, about wealth, about finance, and these kind of things. And it is a serious shortcoming, and I think that financial education should definitely be a curriculum in all schools, you know, in today's day and age. So one of the key things that people don't teach you, and this is a very vast subject, and I've got 30 minutes to cover a whole lot of things. So I'm just going to pick and choose a couple of things. Any of you want to learn more about this, come to me. Let's chat, and I will. My job, and this is how I talk to all my clients. We basically break down all of finance into very simple, uh, very simple concepts. The idea is that it's your money. You should understand how to spend it, how to save it, how to invest it, and ultimately how much risk you're taking to get how much return. And there's no anybody who is giving you a complicated answer regarding your money. Please stay away from those people. It's money is not to be confused. The processes are very simple. You know, the market makers today, the regulators today have made it very simple so that people are not misled in while they're investing their hard-earned money. So let me get right to it. Uh, so there are two parts to money. One is basically earning money while doing a job or doing a business and things like that. That's basically your cash flow. You earn some money, and that's your positive cash flow, and you spend money on basically your expenses, and that's negative cash flow. So that's people normally end up, especially youngsters, end up in the cycle of positive cash flow and negative cash flow. Basically, what it means is you earn 10 rupees and you spend 10 rupees. You know, I mean, there's no concept of saving for a lot of youngsters, and that's sad. People are like always going for, you know, a lifestyle, they're chasing a dream, trying to emulate people who are richer and things like that, and they just want to afford a lifestyle but don't have the means. So how do you get out of this trap where you are earning 10 rupees and you spend most of it, or you have obligations, EMIs, and things like that? So the first step of ever creating wealth is to save money. There is no two ways about it. Either you save money or you borrow money from other sources. So the first thing you do is that you have a business or you have a job where you're earning money, and you start to put aside money separately. That so-called, it becomes your nest egg or your capital. And how the capital is invested, diversified, protected, and with the least amount of risk is how real wealth is created. That's the concept of money being made with money, right? So when you start your journey in investing, the first thing is you have to understand is what is an asset and what is a liability. So you start off with, am I on time? Yeah, okay. So you start off with understanding assets. A lot of people I've spoken to personally feel that a MacBook Pro or an iPhone is an asset because it helps them do work. I have spoken to businessmen who are under the concept idea that if they drive a fancy car, a BMW, and they are able to better impress potential clients and therefore get into their business. But I've often seen these sort of people fail because they don't understand cash flow. They're so start creating a capital of your own. And once you create the capital, enjoy investing in property. And this like equity. So there are various asset classes. So if you are wanting to stock market, things are more volatile, and whether you have the mindset to basically invest in the stock markets, and if you don't, then you need an advisor such as myself or other companies where they help you guide through the investment process and help you a certain amount of risk that you're taking while going through your investment process. So a lot of assets and liabilities. So this is something that you must read up on. I highly recommend this book called Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. Every one of you must read it, no matter how old you are. It's just one of those books that really opened my mind and got me interested in investing. So I've got a lot to speak on this, but I'm just going to move on. So then there's managing debt. I see a lot of youngsters. They're like they've got a lot of debt and they don't know. They want to make money and they really want to get into business, but they have huge EMIs. So managing debt is a very important thing. For you to really make money, you must manage existing debt and come to a point where you don't, have any more debt left, and you have enough savings, and then you start a nest egg. That's where you want to be, right? So debt also is not a bad thing. If you know how to creatively use debt to build capital, please, by all means, go ahead. Nobody's stopping you, but you should know what you're getting into. And then the next point we have is understanding and managing risk. So everything, whenever it comes to financial financial obligations, it always risk is attached to it. The more the risk, the more the returns. So a lot of people start investing their investing journey on other people's opinions. So you might not be the same risk profile as your friend or your colleague, and just because someone's doing it, that doesn't mean you need to do it. You need to have a financial plan, and that's how you basically manage risk, by having a plan and having a disciplined approach to investing. And then we have the concept of taxes. So your government is your partner in profits, not in your losses. So no matter what people think, when they've made a certain amount of money, that's all they're keeping. But no, sir, you have to pay taxes. So it's very important to sit down with a tax advisor and understand how you can minimize your taxes. We pay taxes. Yes, it's important. The country depends on it. So I'm not saying don't pay taxes, but don't pay more taxes than you're supposed to pay taxes, right? And another point I want to talk about is frugality. And this is something that really lacks in the majority of our, especially my generation. I see, we've been our education system, number one, our constant advertisement that we're exposed to. They teach you to spend your money easily, live the good life. But the only way you can get out of this trap is by living frugally. And that's the first step. You take the richest of rich people. My guru, so to speak, I consider as Warren Buffett, and he lives in the same house. Most of you know about him. He's a multi-billionaire. He's a single largest shareholder of Coca-Cola and all the big companies. He's just picked up a huge stake in Apple, and he understands business more than anybody else. Rich people don't have anything to prove, and Warren Buffett lives in the same house he used to 50 years ago. He drives the same car for the last 30 years. So they don't have anything to prove. The idea is not to make other people feel jealous. The idea is not to let other people live life by other people's terms. The idea is to live by your terms and basically have a meaningful life. Okay. So let me get on to the next part of the formula, which is people. Life's too short to spend with the wrong people. And I can't stress on this enough, that people are the most important thing in your life. They are your influences. It's like you have limited time. Why do you spend time with people you don't like spending time? Why do you spend time, which is the most important asset you have, behind people that basically do you harm? And if you have those kind of people, please don't hesitate to dropping them from your lives. Find people who make you happy, positive, creative, and I'm sure your life will be transformed. So, right? So they say that you are the average of the 5 people that you most hang out with. So make sure that circle is good, productive, creative, supportive, and they're good friends and good advisors in the real sense of the word. So whenever you're working, if you work in a toxic work environment, please leave that environment. Find your set of people and do good work together. Another thing is that when with people, it's like a bank account. You can't take out money before you put in money, right? You must serve other people and be helpful and cheer. You should do it with a cheer. Do it with a smile on your face. Go out of your way to help people. That's how you really build relationships, right? And you do it with good intention, with no expectation. That's where you basically really make honest connections, right? And remember the phase when I was talking about, when I was obsessed about understanding how money works and things like that. And I read a very important quote where one person said that, where do you think money comes from? And it was said that money comes from people, right? So there are a lot of people I've seen, they go out of the way and they help somebody and something, and that person towards the end of their life leave all their wealth with this individual, right? So I'm just giving you a cliched example, but the point is that easiest way to money follows character. If you're a good person, if you're not hoarding money, if you're using money for the benefit of other people, so you develop a mindset of service to others. And how do you understand a person is good or bad, or works? I mean, not everyone's good or bad, but some people do work with you and some people just don't work with you. is by listening to your heart, right? And when you get a feeling that someone's good or someone is bad, someone is helpful, someone's not helpful, someone's genuine, someone's not, and your heart has all these insights, you just going with the flow. That's a waste of time, potential. Um, what is the purpose of human life? There are a lot of people who are doing their jobs, doing businesses that they really don't want to, but it's their circumstance, right? And people have to put up with a lot of what shall I say? I mean, situations. So, but when you take everything apart, you realize that I've been born a human being, and if you understand the purpose of what it is to be born as a human being, you probably realize that our purpose is to evolve, right? So we take pride in being better, smarter, healthier than the previous generation, right? And the previous generation felt the same way about the generation before them. So if you just understand the essence of that, you realize that the purpose of human life is to evolve. So how do we become better than humanity is today? And when one individual becomes better, that's not enough. The idea is that whole community, societies, states, countries, and the whole world must evolve. It does not help humanity if you have a whole continent of people who are hungry, and then you have, like unthinkable wealth in other continents. Sadly, that is the situation we are living in today. So there are many causes like we can attach ourselves to, find one and go ahead and change the world, right? So that comes, so for you to do that, you need to take a step back and you ask yourself, why do you do what you do? Am I in healthcare services because my friend is, my father's a doctor, or am I really into it because I really think I can affect change and really contribute to society. So the question is why, and nobody's going to answer this except you. Your close people might have an idea what you're good at and why you should do it, but nobody really can explain this to you except for yourself, right? So you need to sit down, take some time out, meditate on it, and understand why you do what you do, why you want to tackle a certain world problem. So if you were to ask me, how do I find purpose? You talk about purpose, probably you may have purpose. If you're the lucky one, then good. I'm very happy for you. If you don't, what are the steps you would do to find purpose in your life? The first thing is observe. And this is internal observation and external observation. You find people who inspire you, whose lives you want to emulate, who basically have touched your lives, and your basic role models. Warren Buffett says, you tell me your role models and I'll tell you what your life will become, right? And it's a simple concept as that. So you try to emulate people who you most are inspired by, right? So you observe what they are doing and you observe what you feel like doing, right? So that is observe, and also it just goes into the next topic, which is introspect. You understand what you're doing. Then is experiment. Give yourself the time to experiment and make mistakes and sort of figure out whether a certain stream of work or the way you spend your time works for you, your family, your unique situation that you are in, and then you implement those ideas that you have or the lessons you learn from those experiments and keep evolving, right? The next step we want to talk to you about is passion. And I'm a really passionate guy. And one thing I'm very passionate about antiquities, and vintage cars in particular. And basically, I spend a lot of time understanding vintage cars, and I set up the vintage and the classic car club in Calcutta. It's called Classic Drivers Club. And by meeting those, by creating that community, we now we started with 3 people, and today we have a 98 people group who are passionate about cars. And like I said, remember, like money comes from people. So if you are able to create a community of like-minded people, there is somebody in the community who needs financial service. They come to me, right? I need some legal advice. I go to them. So it's very, very helpful to be passionate and create communities around your own passion. And I've seen this work phenomenally for me, and I hope you all do it too. Right? So life's too short to live boring lives. So embrace your potential, be courageous, and regret is more powerful than gratitude, right? So, one sec. I think I just went over one slide. So then under the roof of the entire my prosperity formula, you have spirituality at the base of it, right? So spirituality basically takes things to the next level. In the sense, like, while you become more spiritual, you feel that you don't need to impress other people, and then a lot of things fall away, and then you sort of find yourself away from people who don't inspire you, and you find yourself in a nice, comfortable place with positive people, right? And that makes you creative, and uh, that's and you basically become more creative, and you're able to uh, reach your highest potential. But for you to do that, you must be courageous. You must be courageous. A lot of people might feel that, what will so and so think, but you might be courageous enough to sort of go beyond that, because when you're young and you have potential, wasting it is going to give you more regret. There's a saying: you will find more uh, flowers on a gravestone than in the hospital. Because why? Regret is more powerful than gratitude. And whatever you do, you're passionate about, painting, dancing, it must benefit others, right? It's not a self-centered idea. It must be inclusive. It must touch other people's lives and basically bring value to others, right? So that's what spirituality is. And so I'm just wrapping it up. I know I'm almost, I've spent my time. The key takeaways is: be a good person and do no harm, be in sync with nature, create value, work with good people, take care of your finances, and live your life with zest with meaning. So I think I'm at the end of my time now. So I think that's the formula for prosperity. So thank you.
All right, we don't have time for Q&A, but I think everyone can connect with Shouvik through LinkedIn. And Shouvik, I must say your
Yeah.
content was very relevant, and whatever you spoke about, great talk. And thank you for doing this.
Yeah. Can you guys see this, Ratrika?
Yes.
So if you have any investment related questions, you can contact my company. My website is prosper.in. And any of you want to try out heartfulness meditation, you can see the website or contact me. We offer meditation free of cost to anybody and everybody. It can be done remotely, and it's hugely benefited me and changed the way I think about life and about business and other things. So please feel free to contact me if you have any questions regarding this.
So first of all, thank you for this lovely presentation. It was really nice, and sometimes we need such good thoughts to consume very frequently. I just saw just one question. I just saw that Sahaj Marg something.
That's
So
right.
is that something related to Sahaj Yoga
No, not
or
Sahaj.
Sahaj meditation?
This is called heartfulness. Sahaj Marg is
Oh,
basically the whole name for it, but since we've expanded to many more countries, 124 countries, so
mm.
we've used the word heartfulness so other people can easily follow and understand.
All right, all right.
It's
I
a
think
heart-based
if I could
meditation.
have any queries, yeah, I'll definitely reach out to you on LinkedIn
Yes,
or
please.
wherever
No,
I can find you.
you
Yeah.
can add me on Facebook.
Sure,
I don't check my LinkedIn all the time, but yeah.
sure, sure. We will add. Yeah.
So thanks, guys. Thank you, Blue One India. Thanks, Arachika, for organizing this. I'm happy to speak with you all. So thanks. Have a
Thank you.
prosperous day ahead.
Same wishes for
Thank you,
you as
Shobhik.
well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well,